This is the World News at 12 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Ijeoma Innocent, and these are the top stories. House of Reps Deputy Speaker reveals efforts are ongoing to release Nnamdi Kanu. PDP chieftain says Tinubu will spend 8 years in office if opposition fails to form coalition. Nigeria Investment Agency coordinator arrested as ex-minister faces EFCC today over 37.1 billion naira fraud. And the primate Ayodele advises presidency says probing Buhari will end corruption in Nigeria. On the foreign scene, Sierra Leone charges 12 conspirators for failed coup attempt. Details now. Thank you for staying with us. The World News at 12 begins with the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, giving a ray of hope on the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from detention. You will recall that the Supreme Court recently ordered the retrial of Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, who has been in detention since the year 2021. His incarceration has generated a lot of agitations, including the sit-at-home being observed on Mondays in the Southeast region. But speaking virtually on a current affairs radio program in Umuahia on Tuesday, Kalu said that talks are ongoing to free Nnamdi Kanu. He, however, advised the youth to ensure that the observance of sit-at-home must stop, emphasizing that it was scaring many investors who want to contribute to the development of the region. He further called for support to enable the government of President Bwala Tinubu to deliver optimally, saying that the president was interested in the development of the Southeast. Meanwhile, the chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Daniel Bwala, has said the President Bola Tinubu will spend 8 years in office as president if opposition parties fail to form a coalition ahead of the 2027 general elections. He stated this in a television interview on Tuesday. Meanwhile, Bwala accused the president of instigating crisis in opposition parties, making reference to the political crisis confronting the Labour Party and the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. On the political crisis in Rivers State, Bwala predicted that Governor Sim Fubara would be removed from office, adding that he already stepped into the trap set for him. Although he did not indicate who set the trap for Fubara, Bwala called for prayers for the governor. Meanwhile, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arrested and detained the National Coordinator and Chief Executive Officer of the National Social Investment Program Agency, NSIPA, Halima Shehu, over the ongoing probe into the 37.1 billion naira allegedly laundered in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development under former Minister Sadia Umar Farouk. VOP News gathered that EFCC operatives stormed the NSIPA's office at the Federal Secretariat in FCT on Tuesday and drove Shehu to EFCC headquarters at Jabi in Abuja. Senior officers of the anti-graft agency who spoke to journalists on the condition of anonymity revealed that Shehu was indicted in connection with the alleged 37.1 billion naira fraud as the former national coordinator of the conditional cash transfer program under the ministry during former President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure. Shehu was suspended from office by President Bola Tinubu yesterday. Meanwhile, the EFCC has also invited the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Umar Farouk, to appear before investigators today over the ongoing probe into the 37.1 billion naira allegedly laundered during her tenure in office through a contractor, James Okwete. The former minister was asked to appear before investigators at the EFCC headquarters today to give an account of the alleged monumental fraud that took place under her watch. In the meantime, the leader of Henry Evangelical Spiritual Church, Primate Elijah Ayodele, has urged President Bola Tinubu to probe ex-President Muhammadu Buhari's administration if he wants to end corruption and hardship in Nigeria. Primate Ayodele said corruption will kill good governance in Nigeria, adding that if it is allowed to continue, the country will remain in hardship. In a statement by his media aide, Oluwatosin Osho, Primate Ayodele said President Tinubu and all state governors should ensure that they probe their predecessors if they are intentional about ending hardship. Speaking further, the clergyman noted that if the president does not probe his predecessor, there will be serious corruption this year. You are still listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. I'm not alone in the studio. With me, I have Mr. Peter Anosike. He is a seasoned journalist of so many years, an author, as well as a socio-political and national affairs analyst. And he will be chipping into the news today for in-depth analysis. Good afternoon and Happy New Year, Mr. Anosike.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to still have you with us. All right, before we go into the main issues in the bulletin today, there is a report that came up. There's an issue that came up this morning, and we could say it has gone south, right? It's gone another way, and Nigerians are panicking right now. Apparently, the NNPCL and fuel marketers under the aegis of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, that is IPMAN, yesterday clashed again over the removal of subsidy on petrol. Now, this is coming against the backdrop of the depreciation of the naira against the United States, the US dollar, at both the official I&E window and the parallel market, that's the BDCs, right? Now, yesterday, the local currency, that's the naira, closed at 998 naira per dollar at the official market. It traded at about 1,225 naira to the dollar at the black market. Right, with the falling naira rate, economics and oil marketers are saying that petrol subsidy is increasing in recent times. But the NNPC refuted this. The NNPC countered this, saying that it's recovering its full cost on the importation of petrol. Now, the NNPC is saying, look, there's no subsidy on fuel. Everything is okay, right? And the chief executive officer of the financial derivatives company, Bismarck Rewani, during a live television program said that fuel subsidy was not removed, but it was reduced. Now, this is almost the same position that oil marketers and petroleum marketers have held over the months. We spoke about this last year, where they said, look, the federal government is still paying subsidy on petrol, but not as much as before. Oil marketers are saying with the current exchange rate of almost 1,000 naira, it keeps fluctuating. Sometimes it gets up to 1,000. Sometimes it's higher than 1,000. It said with naira closing at 1,200 naira yesterday, fuel should be selling for as much as 1,200 naira per liter, depending on the location of purchase in Nigeria, right? But then, many people, analysts and critics alike, are saying that the NNPC will not allow this. With what we are seeing right now, with the current exchange rate, with what oil marketers are saying, with the NNPC and the federal government refuting their claim, saying, look, we've totally removed fuel subsidy. Who is really saying the truth at this point? Are Nigerians ready to purchase fuel for up to 1,200 naira per liter? Who's saying the truth? Is there subsidy? Is there no subsidy? Has it been totally removed, or was it just reduced?
The truth is that federal government has been paying subsidy, and what Rowani said is true. It's no more as much as possible. Understand me? That is, there was a reduced in what they were paying. Understand? It did not go as Tinubu just put it. They are paying subsidy, and they will continue to pay subsidy. And because one, with the exchange rate now, because I said it last year that before March, that our exchange rate will be about 1,500 naira per
dollar.
I said it before March, our exchange rate would be 1,500. Understand me? So what is going to expose them? And expose both federal government, expose NNPC, is this free fall of our currency. Because if market forces are determining that is what that's the price of petrol, once there's increase, that's in the exchange rate, petrol is supposed to go up. But for some time now, it has become constant. The price, which is affecting them badly.
Oil marketers or the NNPCL?
Oil marketers, because government is no more subsidizing as before. So they now want to increase, understand? Increases so that to absorb the increment in the exchange rate, which federal government may not want. So the solution now is for federal government to return to the status quo, to begin to subsidize as before, or allow the oil marketers to be sending at the current exchange rate.
Are Nigerians ready to buy fuel at that price? If they are to sell with the current exchange rate, that means the price of fuel will change almost every week.
It will go to 2,000. It will go to 1,000 to 1,200 naira per. Understand me?
Per liter, depending on the fluctuating of the naira.
Even every week, it will be changing. Because our naira is not standing on anything.
Wouldn't that be more hardship for Nigerians who are already grappling with food hike and inflation?
If you had read Tinubu's New Year speech, it was empty. His New Year speech did not don't have anything at all. His New Year speech did not show a government that is willing to address the problem facing this country. His New Year speech was based on hope, and the hope is not a strategy. Hope is not a cure. Understand me? There's nothing to show that Tinubu is willing and ready to make things better for the country. So I'm a realist. Nigeria should embrace, they should be prepared for more hardship in 2024.
So economists are saying, look, with the look of things, subsidy is still being paid, though maybe not as much as before. Oil marketers are saying subsidy is being paid as well. But why does the NNPCL and the federal government insist that, we're not paying subsidy?
Because they don't want to contradict Tinubu.
Or what was said in his inaugural speech.
In May. Understand me? They don't want to contradict him. Understand me? You are in government. You must not change what the man at the top said. But the truth is that they are paying subsidy, and with this recent development, they are going to pay more. Understand me? They are going to pay more. If not, the price of fuel will jump to 1,000.
All right then, but as it is right now, Nigerians are still buying fuel for between 617 naira to 620 naira per liter. This is just to disabuse the notion fuel is not selling at 1,200 naira per liter, so there is no need for us to begin to constitute queues at filling stations as it is right now. Thank you so much, Mr. Anaski, for talking on that. Now let's delve into the news bulletin for the day, where the Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps is saying that efforts are ongoing to release Nnamdi Kanu. Many were expecting, and many had actually spoken. The Ohaneze Ndigbo had spoken before the December 15 Supreme Court case hearing, right? They were expecting that, as at then, they were expecting the Supreme Court to say, okay, you know what? What the lower courts have said, that you are free, you are discharged and acquitted. This is what it should be. But that did not happen on December 15 last year. That did not happen. For the Deputy Speaker to come and say, okay, efforts are ongoing. If the courts did not grant him that freedom, who will?
For me, what is happening in the petrol sector is still what is happening in the judiciary. Understand me? Because this government don't want to be open. For the Deputy Speaker to say that efforts are being made, why a case in court? Do they want to influence the court? The answer is no. The truth is that before May 2023, it was Buhari that was holding Nnamdi Kanu. Now it is Tinubu that is holding Nnamdi Kanu, not court. So Nnamdi Kanu is just in the correctional center, waiting for any day that Tinubu will say, okay, set that young man free. So, and they have been making appeals to Tinubu. So, what the Supreme Court said does not hold water. Nigeria government has no case against Nnamdi Kanu. They have no case against Nnamdi Kanu. That is why all the courts that they have gone to in Nigeria has said this man free, discharge and acquit him. We have found nothing on him. So what is holding him now is the president. Buhari passed Nnamdi Kanu over to Tinubu, and unfortunately Tinubu inherited Nnamdi Kanu, which is wrong. As a leader, you are not supposed to inherit the enemies of your predecessor, because you are going to make your own enemies. Understand? Just like a son is not supposed to inherit his father's enemies, because the son will make his own enemy. So Tinubu inherited Buhari's enemy, which is Nnamdi Kanu. So they are now begging him to set this young man free. So that's what Benjamin Kanu tries to say, that efforts are being made. Because if it's court that is holding him, court will pass their judgment based on the evidence before them. But because court has nothing on him, that's why they are now looking at Tinubu to set him free. But I have said that Tinubu will release Nnamdi Kanu, but the date is what I don't know. Yes, Tinubu is going to set him free, but the date is what I don't know.
All right, then. Let us move forward. Chieftain of the PDP, that is Daniel Bwala, who was also campaign spokesperson for Atiku, has said that Tinubu will spend 8 years in office as president if opposition fails to form a coalition ahead of the 2027 general elections. He's saying that if the opposition does not come together and form a formidable front, that the current president will definitely spend his 2 terms in office. But we know that this has been a trend where we hardly have any president spending 1 term in office. So with or without that coalition, will he not spend his 2 terms in office? Also, secondly, in the first week of December, we know that the PDP, the NNPP, even the Labour Party, the SDP, the ADC, and some other parties came together to form a coalition. But after some time, I wouldn't say they disintegrated, but some were pulling out. The Labour Party at one point said they were a part of it. At one point, they said they were not a part of it. In the face of all of this, will that coalition be able to stop his emergence as president for a second term before 2027?
Well, I'm not a fan of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but it is only death that can stop him from spending 8 years in office. That's minimally.
And that's you being realistic.
That's I say minimally, just a minimum of 8 years, because the way Tinubu is going now, he has perfected beyond 8 years. Understand? They have already rigged the 2027 election. So there's nothing that opposition can do.
So when you say rigged, isn't that like preempting what is going to happen? Because the power of incumbency.
The 10 reps that were appointed, Umorin and others, were APC card-carrying members. Understand me? So that was the same way. The rigging of 2023 election did not start in 2023. It started when Festus Okoye was appointed the spokesman of INEC. Understand me? Because those who know Festus Okoye was the founder of TMG, Transition Monitoring Group, that have been working for Tinubu since Tinubu became a governor. Understand? So Tinubu know how to put people in strategic positions. So he had done this for his 2027 election. So Tinubu, APC, INEC has already rigged 2027 election.
Isn't it too early though?
That's why I say it is only death that can stop Tinubu from winning 2027.
So talks of a coalition or not cannot.
Tinubu will destroy any coalition. Tinubu is a Nigerian. He knows how to be a Nigerian. There are two different things, being a Nigerian and knowing how to be a Nigerian. So Tinubu knows how to be a Nigerian. He understands how Nigeria works. And he is playing the game. So 2027 election is over. There's nothing that the opposition can do. He will scatter every opposition. The money is there, the power is there. Understand me? So let all the other parties form coalition. Tinubu has already infiltrated the INEC and the judiciary too. All
right, then let's quickly talk about corruption in several different ministries, and some of the ministers have been invited by the EFCC from former President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. The EFCC has arrested and detained the national coordinator and CEO of the National Social Investment Program Agency, NSIPA, Halima Shehu, over an ongoing probe into 37.1 billion naira allegedly laundered in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. Now, this was under former Minister Sadiya Umar Farouk, right? EFCC operatives stormed the NSIPA's office yesterday, and they arrested her and drove her to the EFCC headquarters in Jabi, Abuja. They've also invited former Minister Sadiya Umar Farouk, saying that she was involved in the laundering of this money, this amount at 7.1 billion naira, through a contractor. As it is right now, she was invited, but Halima Shehu, who was also the national coordinator of the Conditional Cash Transfer Program under the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Social Development and Disaster Management during former President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure, right? Halima Shehu was arrested, but Sadiya Umar Farouk was invited. Umar Farouk was the head of the ministry. She was the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, but this other person, Halima Shehu, was the one who was in charge, the national coordinator for the Conditional Cash Transfer Program under President Muhammadu Buhari. You recall that President Muhammadu Buhari borrowed about $800 million from the World Bank, where he said, for poverty alleviation, we want to share this money to Nigerians, we want to help Nigerians. But that 7.1 billion naira, maybe or maybe not from this amount, has allegedly been misappropriated. Now, this is a very sensitive ministry, because we know we have so many Nigerians who have been misplaced due to insecurity. We have people in IDP camps, not to even talk about orphanage homes and so many other places where humanitarian needs arise. As it is right now, why does it seem that there are two different treatments? Why one person is arrested and the other person is invited, even if the one who was invited was the head of the ministry, was the one in charge of the ministry, and then you have someone under you who has misappropriated funds. This funds rather. This also brings us to the call for former President Buhari's probe, because all of these things were happening under his ministry.
Well, Buhari up till now, because we don't know how, I know that Tinubu's 4 years for now will be filled with hardship. Understand? So, but we don't know how the state of corruption will go. But the truth is that these people, Tinubu said that he will continue from where Buhari stopped, and really he is doing that. But when in 1984, when Tinubu when Buhari overthrew the government of Shehu Shagari was the president, and next Kwame was the vice president. Shehu Shagari was kept in under house arrest. Kwame was put in Kirikiri prison. Understand me? The president was sent to his house and under house arrest. Then his vice was put in prison. But we know that the person that is holding power is the president. So this is the country that we are in. Buhari has run the most corrupt administration since the history of this country. And the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs is a conduit pipe to siphon Nigeria economy. You cannot be talking of humanitarian affairs while you don't have data. Understand me? What is the population of the
displaced people that you want to help?
What is the population of the out of school? What is the population of the vulnerable people in the country? We don't have these statistics. So you are allocating money. You don't know for how many people that money was meant for. Emefiele said that Buhari instructed him to be giving 500 billion to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs every month. What was that money? Who has been given that money? Understand me? So Buhari ran the most corrupt government in the history of Nigeria so far. We don't know how Tinubu will go. And if they want to fight corruption, the minister of that humanitarian affairs should be in jail. The aviation minister, Sirika, should be in jail. These are people who openly robbed corruption as a pancake. And understand me? But nothing has happened. Which means what they are doing is a pick and choose.
Of who is to actually answer for the crimes of the whole
understand
ministry.
Me? Pick and choose. The day that Emefiele was arrested, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs should have also been arrested. The Minister of Aviation should have also been arrested the same time. So they should go and now we are getting the impression that something is happening, but at the end we want to see how it will end.
All right then, thank you so much, Mr. Peter Anoske, for joining me on the World News at 12 this afternoon. Our time is fast spent and we need to continue with the news bulletin. Thank you so much for coming, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
You are still listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. On the foreign scene, 12 people have been charged in Sierra Leone after their alleged role in November's failed coup attempt. They include former police and correctional officers, as well as the former bodyguard of ex-president Ernest Bai Koroma. Koroma is also a suspect in the coup attempt and has been under house arrest since he was questioned by police last month. The suspects are facing several charges, including treason, concealing treason, and harboring, aiding, and abetting the enemy. And that is a wrap on the World News at 12. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that the House of Reps Deputy Speaker has revealed that efforts are ongoing to release Nnamdi Kanu. PDP chieftain says Tinubu will spend 8 years if opposition fails to form a coalition. Nigerian Investment Agency coordinator arrested as ex-minister faces EFCC today. And the Primate Adele advises presidency says probing Buhari will end corruption in Nigeria. On the foreign scene, Sierra Leone charges 12 conspirators for failed coup attempt. And that is a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Ijeoma Egwuatu. Good afternoon and thank you for listening. Do stay tuned. Matters comes up next.